The current pandemic of COVID-19 is, of course, of interest to all disciplines, including anthropology. Anthropologists have been interested in a number of different topics related to the pandemic, including things like which inequalities affect which people are more likely to get infected and even die from the virus. It could be something like how race, gender, and class influence which workers are not able to work from home, but have to go out and interact with the public, and what affects the type of protection or healthcare they receive. There is something interesting that's been happening in the field, and that's been an attention to environmental relations. So for example, there's an idea called One Health, which emphasizes the interconnection between animal, human, and environmental well-being. And it brings this needed focus on the interconnection between what appeared like remote places, people, animals, and even viruses that are implicit in such a thing as a pandemic. And it's interesting that given this interconnection that is being recognized in the discipline, that there's also this interest in the government responses, the desire to control movement across borders during the pandemic. And these policies, of course, carry with them enormous social and economic consequences that show us just how hard it is to imagine our current world and circumstances as being possibly greater partitioned or closed off. And the interconnection of the world through globalization and migration mean that our analyses also need to be able to connect what might appear as local or individual behaviors or choices or phenomenon to structural patterns that are itself composed of smaller actions and choices made by people. And what is nice to see about this more recent One Health approach is an inclusion of more than human species, animals, viruses, and so on, and our close interconnection and interaction with them as well, that have always been there, but are especially visible right now. So I appreciate that anthropology brings a specific approach and attention to a topic like COVID, and it does so best when it engages with other disciplines, which give it greater insight that would otherwise not be possible. And that's something that I think really influences my approach and aligns with the vision of our current LDE Center on Governance of Migration and Diversity. And it's something that I hope to put into practice in our future work.